welcome back. This is Season 1, Episode 4, I believe we're on now, of Journey into the Unknown. I am your host, Emerald Raven, and today we're going to talk about Bigfoot. But before I get into that, I do want to let you guys know that you may have noticed that the introduction video was different. And when I first started speaking, I said Journey into the Unknown rather than Journey into Legend. That is because we over here have decided that it is a better option to put all of this under one umbrella, because Legend being focused on cryptids, and Paranormal being focused under Unknown kind of just made too much happen at once. So I decided that it was better to put them under the same umbrella, considering the fact that they are both in the realm of the unknown and we are covering both. So going forward, Journey into Legend will henceforth be Journey into the Unknown. Now that you've got a minute and a half of me babbling, let's jump on into the Bigfoot. There are forests in North America where the trees grow so close together that daylight feels filtered, diluted, as though the land itself is holding something back. Sound behaves differently in these places. Footsteps vanish into moss. Wind moves high above rather than through. And when something large moves between the trunks, it is often heard long before it is seen, if it's seen at all. This is where the Bigfoot story lives. Unlike many creatures born purely from myth, Bigfoot exists in the uneasy overlap between folklore, eyewitness testimony, and modern obsession. The idea of a large human-like being inhabiting remote wildernesses is not new. Indigenous cultures across North America describe such beings long before the name Bigfoot ever existed. What changed was not the creature, but the audience. Bigfoot doesn't enter the story as a monster. It enters as a presence, a sense that something else is sharing the forest. Hunters speak of being watched without seeing anything. Hikers describe the feeling of stepping into a place where they are no longer the top of the food chain. Campers recount nights where woods fall silent, not gradually, but all at once. That silence is often the first sign. Descriptions of the Bigfoot vary slightly depending on the region, but the core details remain remarkably consistent. Witnesses describe a tall, broad-shouldered figure, usually between 6 and 9 feet, covered in thick hair, ranging from dark brown to black, occasionally reddish or gray. The body is powerfully built, with long arms that hang lower than humans, giving it a distinctive silhouette when it moves. The head is often described as domed or conical, lacking a visible neck, kind of like me. The face is said to be flat with deep-set eyes, a heavy brow ridge, and a wide mouth. Some witnesses describe a strong odor accompanying the encounter, often compared to wet earth, decay, or sulfur. This smell sometimes is detected before the creature itself. Movement is one of the most frequently mentioned details. Bigfoot is said to walk upright with an ease that appears natural, not forced. Its gait is smooth and deliberate, covering ground quickly without appearing rushed. Witnesses often comment on how quiet its movement is despite its size. This combination of mass and silence is deeply unsettling. Encounters rarely involve sudden attack. Most sightings occur at a distance, often fleeting. A figure crossing a clearing, a shape moving between trees, a glimpse of something standing still, watching before it disappears. The brevity of these encounters is part of what fuels skepticism, but it's also part of what defines the experience. Those who have seen Bigfoot often emphasize how quickly the moment passes, leaving behind doubt and questions rather than clarity. There are also accounts of more prolonged encounters. In these, witnesses describe being observed from cover, sometimes for extended periods. The creature does not approach. It does not flee immediately. It watches, assessing the situation. This behavior suggests awareness rather than instinct, caution rather than aggression. In some cases, Bigfoot is reported to vocalize. These sounds are described as deep, resonant calls that echo through the forest, sometimes answered by similar calls from other directions. Some witnesses describe whoops, howls, or wood-knocking sounds, as though the creature is communicating through the environment itself. Wood-knocking in particular has become a reoccurring element of Bigfoot lore. The sound of something striking a tree with force once or twice, and then silence. Researchers debate whether this is intentional communication, territorial signaling, or simply coincidence. But the consistency of the reports has kept the idea alive. Physical evidence is where the Bigfoot story becomes most contentious. Footprints are the most commonly cited proof, large impressions often measuring over a foot in length, found in mud, snow, or sand. Some casts show dermal ridges similar to human fingerprints, a detail that proponents argue would be difficult to fake consistently. Skeptics counter that footprints are easily fabricated and that no conclusive biological evidence has ever been produced. Hair samples fail to yield unknown DNA. Photographs and videos are always blurry or inconclusive. Trail cameras rarely capture anything definitive, and yet reports continue. Bigfoot sightings are not evenly distributed. They cluster in regions with dense forests, low human population, and difficult terrain. The Pacific Northwest is the most famous, but reports also come from Appalachia, the Rockies, and parts of Canada. Each region adds its own flavor to the legend, but the core description remains stable. This inconsistency is one of the strongest arguments in favor of something real underlying the story. People separated by geography and culture describe similar experiences without apparent coordination. From a skeptical perspective, Bigfoot is often explained as a misidentified bear. Now, bears can stand upright and walk short distances on two legs and appear deceptively human at a distance. In low light or high stress, the mind may exaggerate size and fill in the missing detail. But this explanation struggles to account for some elements. Bears don't walk upright for long distances. They don't display apparent curiosity without aggression. They don't produce consistent reports of vocalizing or wood knocking across regions. And most importantly, bears do not leave footprints that resemble human feet. The Bigfoot phenomenon has also been shaped by modern culture. Media portrayals range from comedic to terrifying, often overshadowing the quieter, more unsettling aspect of the legend. Reality shows and documentaries have turned the search for Bigfoot into entertainment, sometimes trivializing the experience of those who claim encounters. Yet, beneath the spectacle, the core story remains unchanged. Something large, intelligent, and elusive is believed to inhabit the margins of human territory. Culturally, Bigfoot represents more than just a creature. It embodies the idea that wilderness is not empty, that even in a mapped and monitored world, there are places beyond easy explanation. It challenges the assumption that humanity has cataloged everything worth knowing. There are no reliable stories of Bigfoot attacking humans unprovoked. Most accounts describe avoidance rather than aggression. When conflict does occur, it is often tied to perceived intrusion or threat. This has led some to speculate that Bigfoot is territorial but not malicious. There are also accounts of objects being thrown, not directly at people but nearby. Rocks landing close enough to warn without injuring. This behavior is interpreted by some as a form of intimidation rather than attack. The lack of clear hospitality complicates the narrative. Bigfoot is not a predator stalking humans. It's something that prefers distance, secrecy, and control of its environment. That preference raises troubling questions. If such creatures exist, why has it avoided discovery for so long? Possible explanations range from extreme intelligence and caution to the simple fact that humans don't spend enough time in truly remote wilderness to encounter it that often. Forests are vast, visibility is limited. A creature adapted to avoid detection could remain hidden indefinitely. There is also the possibility that Bigfoot population, if they exist, are small and declining. Habitat loss, human expansion, and environmental change would push such beings deeper into isolation, reducing encounters rather than increasing them. The idea casts the legend into a different light, not as a mystery waiting to be solved, but as a fading presence retreating from a changing world. There is one story of the Bigfoot that I've never been able to shake. And it comes from the Lumi Nation in the Pacific Northwest. According to their oral traditions, their ancestors once had conflict with a clan of the forest people, which are what we now call Bigfoot. And instead of wiping each other out, they came to a truce. They built a boundary, whether it was a natural boundary, a wall, or something. The agreement was simple yet powerful. If any humans crossed into the forest people territory, they were at the mercy of the Bigfoot clan. No retaliation. And if one of the Bigfoot were to cross into tribal territory, they were at the mercy of the tribe, again with no retaliation. It's not the story of a monster or a clan of monsters. It was a sovereignty story. It wasn't about fear. It was about recognition. It was about acknowledging that something else lived there. Something intelligent enough to negotiate, something powerful enough to require boundaries. That story has stuck with me for years because it changes the lens completely. Bigfoot isn't just a cryptid to be hunted or proven. In that tradition, Bigfoot is a people, a neighboring nation of the forest. And whether you believe that literally or not, there's something incredibly profound about the idea that the wild deserves boundaries and respect. I will also continue saying that there are different theories as to what the Bigfoot is. You heard the misidentified bear. That is more of the skeptic's take on it. There are tribes of Native Americans that believe that the Bigfoot are dimension walkers, meaning that they can literally walk between dimensions, which they say is why we've never found a Squatch body. There are some believers who believe that the Bigfoot is an alien experiment, something extraterrestrial, because when there is a rash of Bigfoot sightings, it's often accompanied by a rash of UFO sightings. There is the idea that I have entertained for years as well as a believer, that it could simply be a creature that we thought was extinct. Because for me, it sounds a lot like Gigantopithecus, which is a gorilla-type creature that is bigger than a silverback. It is possible that it adapted and was able to walk upright in this way. I can't say for sure. I don't know. There are some, of course, as usual, who believe that it's a government experiment gone wrong, which I think is something that's going to happen with a lot of creatures. Now, it's important to note that while in this episode I covered the idea of Bigfoot in America, they exist all over the world. You got the Yeti, for example. That is the abominable snowman, it is a Bigfoot. They have them in Asia, they have them in Europe, they have them in Africa. They got them all over the place. It's not strictly American. And my final thoughts on this creature is it is very real. Not simply because of all the stories and all of the eyewitness encounters. It is because not too long ago, I had an encounter myself. Actually twice, and I do believe that it was the exact same Bigfoot. For full details of that story, please head on over to Amazon and purchase my book, Journey into the Unknown, My Experiences with All Things Paranormal. I will leave the title of that book with my name in the description. But for me, and for others like me who have encountered this creature, it's no longer a matter of belief, a blind belief in the existence of a creature. It is fact that this creature exists because I saw it with my own two eyes. And yes, there is doubt at first, but then when you have time to think about it and you're going through it again and you're reliving the situation, especially in my case, and you're looking at, okay, so this was happening when I saw it. What was I feeling? If you weren't feeling fear, then your mind was not making anything up. For me, it's no longer a legend. It is no longer the unknown. Well, it's still the unknown very much. But for me, it is very much a real creature. And native tribes, especially in the Americas, have so many legends around this creature, and they lived in nature in places that we never will live in. If anybody knows, it's going to be them. And I will forever believe in the legends given us by Native Americans. As for what it really is, I can't say for sure. I think that, like anything, there are so many layers to it. I think it is possible that everybody could be right. Some cases are misidentified bears, some cases are Gigantopithecus, which we're still figuring out. Some cases are aliens, some cases are government experimentation, some cases are the dimension walkers. But too often we get these footprints, these casts made. And to me, that is undeniable. And maybe in 2026, you can fake it. But I don't think that you could have faked some of the older casts. But as always, with every creature that we talk about, I will let you decide how you feel about the Bigfoot. If you believe it or you don't, let me know in the comments. Tell me why. With that being said, I'm going to start bringing this episode to a close. If you enjoyed this episode, please like it and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any future content. This is only episode 4. We have 10 episodes in this season, so we still got a long way to go. If you have had any encounters with anything paranormal or cryptid, and you would like me to read it out on the channel and give my opinion on it as I do, please send that to me at emeraldravenparanormal@gmail.com, and I will gladly do so. If you wish to remain anonymous so that you don't have people looking at you weird, then let me know and I will absolutely respect that and read it anonymously. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, Emerald Raven Mystic, so you can be kept up to date with all of my new products, new services, and find out where I'm going to be so you can come and meet me and speak to me in person and tell me your experiences if you wish. Also, follow on Facebook Rhodes Marketplace, because we are planning at least twice a month doing ghost hunts out there. Our first one is this week, February 21st. So that is going to be really fun, and it's going to be a great investigation. I hope that some of you can make it out to do some of these investigations. But with that being said, I'm going to finally bring this episode to an end. I will see you guys back here next week, and until then, be safe and remember, never be afraid to spread your wings and soar into the unknown.